Today we have a very special treat and a very beloved guest speaking with us today. Dr. Joe Vitale is no stranger to Unity of Wimberley. He's been a part of this community in one way or another for many, many years, since its inception, actually. And Dr. Joe is also well known internationally for his work in the work of spirit, in the work of connecting people with the divine and with divine resource. You may know him from his role in that wonderful documentary called The Secret. And so today here to share with us is our very special, very welcome guest, Dr. Joe Vitale.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back. What a beautiful place. What a beautiful location. What beautiful energy. I always love coming here. Now, speaking is a nerve-wracking experience for me. Not so much in this moment, but in all the moments before this moment. Because in all the moments before this moment, I go through all the different things I can talk to you about. I've written 77 books. We can pick any one of them, and if I remember the book, I'll tell you a little bit about it. Besides The Secret, I'm in 15 movies, I think, something like that. We can pick any one of them and talk about that. I'm also a musician, not as good as what you've got here, but I have 15 albums, and we can talk about any of that. But as I get to this moment, what I always do is surrender. I give up. I actually have, you can see yellow pages of notes. A little cheat sheet in case I completely go blank. It's like, I got something I can talk to you about. But as I sit there and I get closer to this moment, I have to surrender. I have to stand up here and just say what there is to say. And I have something of a tough love approach to life. And in the movie The Secret, there is a moment where I say, I'm going to get in your face. And a lot of people have repeated that line to me over the years, so they've liked that approach. So I'm going to take that approach today for both of us. I mean, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm stretching. We're on the path together here. And so I want to begin by just saying we're all faith wimps. We're faith wimps. And that phrase even occurred to me while I was sitting there listening to the wonderful music and your wonderful singing. So I can speak my truth. I carry a mustard seed coin with me and have for decades. And sometimes I carry 2 or 3. It has a little mustard seed. I know you can't see it, but take it on faith that I have it there. There's a mustard seed. And it's a reminder. You know, the quote is about having faith like a mustard seed. And I remember giving a workshop one time, and I said, you know, a mustard seed doesn't second guess. A mustard seed doesn't doubt. A mustard seed doesn't have the consciousness to do all of that, and we do. And that's where we often trip ourselves up. I also have on my hand, on my little pinky here, which it's the only finger it'll fit on, a ring. It's 2,500 years old. It is from ancient Italy, and it has the word fidem, F-I-D-E-M, etched on it. Fidem is ancient Latin for faith. I used to not wear it because I thought it was too valuable, but Dr. Hulin, who taught me Ho'oponopono, and we wrote Zero Limits together and did all these workshops together, held it in his hand a long time, and he said, you need to wear it, and always wear it. And so I always do. But the faith thing has to go even deeper than feel-good mustard seed coins and ancient rings and humorous little reminders to have faith. One of the books I've been reading recently is called Do Greater Things. Do greater things. You know what it's referring to? To do greater things than Jesus, than the miracles that are in the Bible. His previous book, this author, I think it's Robbie, somebody, I don't remember, but it's Do Greater Things, and the other book is Do What Jesus Did. These are not unity books. These are not unity ministers. But they're coming from a degree of power and faith that I don't always have, and I would venture to gamble a guess that you probably don't have. I know you pray. I know you come to the service. I know you enjoy the songs and repeat the lyrics. I know you do affirmations. I know you do a lot of things. But when push comes to shove, do you truly believe? Do you truly have the faith that you can move mountains, that you can accomplish your goals, that you can make a difference in your life? One of the things that these books like Do Greater Things have been reminding me of is that when you feel that connection to the divine, to God, whatever you want to call it, and you really feel that connection, and you are plugged in to that power source, you can then command what you want to have happen. Not wimpy faith approach, wish it to happen. Command it and do something about it. Now, I just spent 30 days in Italy. 30 days in Italy. That's where I got my shirt, Expect Miracles. They made it in Italy, and the guy got the idea to make it and made it in time for a seminar in Milan and made enough of them to do really well, and now he's in business doing this. But he got an idea, he took faith, he took action, he's in the t-shirt business. But that's not what I want to talk to you about. How did I get to Italy? Every morning we would wake up and we would look at a blank wall. In a new place, new surroundings, I'm in a new relationship, looking at a blank wall. And I'd go, man, I wish there was something on that wall. Piece of art. One of these wonderful items here. Something. For a while, I treated it as a portal. I would look at the wall and just pretend, well, this is kind of a Star Trek thing. And I can step through the portal, and I can go anywhere I wanted. Play with my imagination. But that kept changing, because I go to different places when I step through the blank wall portal. And then I thought we really should put something on the wall. We started talking about different things we wanted. Well, I'm a car guy, so we were putting up pictures of cars. We're animal people. We put up pictures of animals. And then we started talking about where do we want to go. Well, it's a big, wonderful, juicy, beautiful planet. Where do you want to go? And we both said, well, with all the places we can go, Italy just kept surfacing. So we went to the bookstores, bought magazines, travel magazines, looking for photos of Italy. Bought a book of nothing but photographic masterpieces of Italy. And we would go through and cut up the magazine and cut up the book. The book that was particularly great to the extent that I ordered a second copy, so we had I'm a book guy, I have to respect books. I had one I didn't damage, and the other one we just ate up. And we put pictures of Italy, and there was no rhyme or reason. There was no logic behind it. We just looked at the pretty pictures and was like, well, that looks interesting. That looks interesting. Oh, I really like that. And if the photo really sung to us, we cut it out, tacked it on the wall, and there was nothing pretty about it. This is Scotch tape and those little stick-on buttons in the wall. And so now we're looking at something. And we look at it every day and go, it'd be really great to be there. What would it be like to have that car, have that experience? Wonder what that restaurant would be like in Italy, because we had a picture of one. But we would just look at it. And one morning, inspired action kicked in, and I said, we should just go. We should just go. Nobody's inviting me. Even though my books were said to be #1 bestsellers in Italy, and I was, as popular as the Pope, author-wise, they told me. Nobody was inviting me. So I said, we should just go. So we look online, we find tickets. We're not even sure where we're going. I decided I didn't want to go to Rome. I didn't want to go to southern Italy, because I had been to that part, and I didn't necessarily like it. Hadn't been to the northern part. I thought, well, that sounds like it's where we should go. Go to the Milan and go up, go in that area. We are guessing, throwing darts at Italy. And then after we decided that we would go, we looked for a place to stay, and I said, well, we're staying for 30 days. I've never stayed anywhere for 30 days. I've been in Wimberley for 20 years, but to actually go to visit someplace and stay for 30 days, this is record-breaking. Who does that? Well, I do now. So we decided to go to Italy. We got our tickets. We decided that we'd stay for 30 days. We found a villa that we would stay in. And then I thought, somebody should pay for this other than me. And then I started to think, well, I know one person in Italy. And I contacted him. And I said, I'm thinking of coming to Italy. This is the space of time. Do you think you can put on a mastermind or a event or a book signing or something where I can get enough money that would just justify going and pay for the trip and also give me a tax-deductible reason to deduct the whole thing? So the rational mind is kicking in, and I'm trying to work this out. And he actually pulled together 2 seminars in 30 days, including finding vendors like the guy who had never been a T-shirt guy before, who is now in the T-shirt business. And one event was in Turin. And it was a small event, but wonderful people. The other one was in Milan, and it was huge. And 400 and some people stood in line for photos and autographs and all this kind of stuff. The love and the passion was so amazing. And we explored where we were staying. It was in the Bellagio, Lake Como area of Italy. If you know anything about Italy, it's incredibly, breathtakingly beautiful. In fact, one day we had left because Switzerland was like an hour and a half away. So we went to Switzerland. We didn't like it. Turned around and came back. Because the part of Switzerland we saw was the modern, industrial, all the cosmopolitan kind of things. We didn't want that. We wanted old school Italy. We went back to Italy. In Bellagio, which is a small town, we're walking through the streets. Streets are 500 years old. Those little tiny rocks that I asked somebody, who put this street together? And they said, do you want to know the names? I'm like, no, I don't want to know the names. It's 5 centuries old. And as I'm walking, my partner starts gasping. She says, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And I'm like, well, what can't you believe? What's going on? And she's looking up the steps. And she keeps looking. She says, no. And she's just stumbling. And I didn't know what was happening to her. And as she was going up and I'm following her, she's noticing a restaurant on the left. And she stared at it. And it was the restaurant that's in the photo that's on the vision board in our bedroom. I mean, it shows reliving all of this. Do you see how we are creating our reality? There is a part of us that co-creates that with a divine part. We don't have to do a whole lot except say yes to the inspired moments that say, when you wake up, go to Italy. All right. And then you get an inspired moment on how to pay for it, and you take care of that. Another inspired moment to walk these particular streets. And out of that, you see that you created it. Your mind saw the blank wall that you put all these pictures on, and over enough time, it manifested into reality. Now, it wasn't all fun and games. At the end of that 30 days, my father died. It was on the next to the last day of the trip. We were in Milan by then. And we also had to learn surrender. These are concepts that I'll explore more deeply in the workshop I'm doing a little later. But all of us get to a point in our lives where, in the stages of consciousness I talk about, we begin with victimhood in almost every case. We move into empowerment because we saw the movie The Secret. We read a book by somebody, a lot of success literature out there. We saw the right movie. We read the right poem, met the right person, ended up in the right place like this. And we learn the skills of empowerment, which is juicy, which is the superwoman phase of living. But then along there somewhere, there's a death, there's an illness, there's something that you really can't handle all by yourself. And I teach that there's 2 kinds of surrender. There's a surrender where you go back to being a victim. And you roll over and you give up because you think, I can't do anything. And you give up in that negative, depressed way. The other kind of surrender is when you give in to the higher power, to the divine, to God. And when you give in to that, you have re-plugged in to that power source. You are replugged into the nuclear generator that's behind your life anyway. And when you are aware of it, you can now have that superhuman faith, supernatural faith, not wimpy faith. So what I've been asked to do, when I say asked, is like, the divine asked me to say this to you, is to shake you a tiny little bit. Just shake you a little bit. And remind you, you've got a goal. You've got a goal of some sort. Each one of you has an intention. There's something you want to have, do, or be. Not everybody has that, but you're in unity. You're with this great minister here. This is being called out of you. So it's being teased out of you. You have something you want to have, do, or be. Why don't you have it? Now, there is divine timing, but there's also human timing, and I always ask people, you have to look within. Do you not have the thing you want to have, do, or be because there is a certain divine timing that has to unfold? Or are you using that as an excuse because you haven't increased and amplified your own faith? And you haven't stepped out with that commanding, inspired action that actually co-creates things to happen. Most of you know the story that I was homeless at one point, in poverty for the longest time, yet can stand up here and get to be in front of audiences like this. I'm going to Russia in a couple of weeks. I was in Italy for 30 days. Go all over the world getting to do these things. I'm no different than you. I still have struggles. If I told you everything that I was going through right now, you'd probably collapse and wonder, how is he up here? How is he doing this? Well, I'm doing this because I'm plugged in, I'm saying yes, I'm coming from faith, and I want to inspire all of you. I've been given those marching orders. Doesn't matter what my notes are, doesn't matter what my little cheat sheet is, doesn't matter all the stuff I went through yesterday, thinking all these different things I can talk to you about. This is what I can talk to you about. Don't be a faith wimp. Focus on what you want. Look at what you can do. Take the baby steps of action, whatever it happens to be. Going to Italy for 30 days began with a decision. We're going. Then it began with, let's cut out little pieces of paper. How hard is that? In fact, it was thrilling to go into bookstores and look at travel magazines and buy a bunch of them, or find a book on Italy in this particular case. I'm telling you what my story and process has been. Your story will be different. I was interviewed recently, and somebody had said, what is the biggest mistake that people make when they go to create their reality or go for their dreams? What's the biggest mistake? The number one mistake is waiting until you have the how. So many people wait until they know the plan. You will never know the plan. You will never know the plan until you've achieved your result. You go to Italy for 30 days. Then at the end of it, you can stand there and go, oh, how did I do that? Then there was a plan. But you didn't see the plan at the beginning. Wasn't it Steve Jobs who said you can connect the dots after the creation, not before it? So the big mistake people make is sitting here going, well, I want to take action, but I don't know how to get there. Of course you don't know how to get there. You probably got to create your own way, your own method. I really do believe we live in a universe where anything is possible. I don't think anything can be stopped. I believe nothing is impossible. I believe the only things that stop us are the parameters, the paradigms, the beliefs in our mind. I also believe we don't know what those beliefs are in most cases, unless we have coaching or we have mentoring or we're in a mastermind or we're in groups like this and you start sharing with each other, and sometimes you'll hear the limiting beliefs. But I really do come from the phrase, you can expect miracles. So, I have faith in all of you. I have faith in your dreams, your potential, and your connection to the divine. Now go out there and co-create the life of your dreams. Thank you.